Welcome to our Devos this week, where we have been talking about one thing. So many times in the Bible, do you see God doing miraculous things in large quantities? Sure. But sometimes you see God zeroing in on one thing. Just one little thing where he's working in somebody's life, where he's interacting with someone that's just one person. Or you see one simple act of one person that transforms somebody else. All of this means that everything we do and our behavior matters. And so today, I want to talk to you about the importance of one step. One step. One of the hardest things for any of us to do is to recognize that when we make a plan and we put a plan in place, that we have to take steps. And a lot of times we have a big plan, like graduating with a doctorate. Or maybe you have a big plan, like buying your first home, or getting a job, or applying to college. Whatever your big plan is, you realize very quickly in short order that there's a lot of steps between you and where you want to be with regard to where that plan ends up. So what we tend to do in those cases is we so fall in love with that vision, that end picture. And it's good that you do. You have to have passion about what you're doing. You have to have passion and focus about why it's important for you. That's all great. But then what happens is we look at the first step and go, that's just stupid. Like, I have to do this? That doesn't even feel like I'm going to go to college, or it doesn't even feel like I'm going to buy that house, or it doesn't even feel like, and we have all of these inward voices that are telling us that what we're doing isn't important. Well, I'm going to tell you, to God, one step is important. One step in faith is important. Now, the nation of Israel had been delivered from Egyptian bondage, and they had crossed over the Red Sea through a miraculous intervention of God on his behalf. But they come to another place as they're about to go and move into the promised land and about to take the land that God has been telling them that was theirs from the very beginning. As they're about to move into the promised land, they come across the river Jordan. Now, the river Jordan was swollen because of the time, and it was really heavy and high up, so they couldn't wade across it. So this required a great deal of faith, just like it did with the Red Sea, that they were going to move in the direction of moving water to see if they could cross over. Now, the passage that I want to look at is when Joshua instructs them to go over the Jordan. He makes it really specific. He tells those that are carrying the Ark of the Covenant, the box, for lack of a better term, the instrument that is carrying the presence of God, carrying his presence according to the Mosaic system and what they were doing at the time, that they're going to walk across the Jordan River first. So this is what happens as Joshua prepares them. Joshua chapter 3, verse 14 through 16. It says, as soon as those bearing the ark had come as far as the Jordan, and the feet of the priests bearing the ark were dipped into the brink of the water. This is the first step. The waters coming down from above stood and rose up in a heap very far away, and the people passed over opposite Jericho. So we come to find that just as Joshua tells them, as soon as they take the first step, God does his miraculous work. As soon as they dip their foot in the water, God does his miraculous work. I'm going to ask you right now, what is your dip in the water thing that you have to do? I mean, I know you want to be debt-free, but what do you have to do now? Do you have to open up the bills that you haven't looked at in months? Do you have to examine what money you're making and what your actual debt is so you can figure out how to pay it off? If you want to get married, you're not dating anyone. Are you thinking about putting an online dating profile up, or thinking about asking somebody that you know out on a date? Those are the first one-step things. And what we want is we want instant end-of-the-line results. We don't want to go through the steps, but the steps are where the blessings are. The step that you take in faithfulness activates what God was planning on doing all along. But you have to take that step. You have to take that step. You have to be willing to say, I'm going to do this. And then God will do the rest. And I'm going to go further than that. God will do even more than you could imagine or ask or think, because you decided to be faithful and take the first step that he was calling you to take.